Based on the following information, calculate the sustainable growth rate for Zeppelin guitars, and then also what is the ROA. The return on assets. So for return on assets, ROA, we need net income divided by total assets. And let's just go through what each of these ones is. So 5.3 or 0.053 is our profit margin, which equals our net income divided by sales. Our total asset turnover is our sales. Our total assets is sales divided by total assets. Our total debt ratio is our total assets less our total equity divided by our total assets. And our payout ratio at 30% means that our retention ratio is going to be 0.7. Okay, so as we can see here, we are pretty close to some of these. If we can get some of these, we can get other ones. So total assets, we can get our net income. We'll be quite close. So if we can get, so our asset turnovers are sales times our total assets. But here we have our net income times our total assets. Fortunately, our net income is equal to our sales times our profit margin. So what we can do is take our M, which is our profit margin, and times net income divided by, and times sales times total assets. And we already have our sales divided by our total assets, and we already have our profit margin. So our ROA is going to equal 0.053 times 1.6. And we get a return on assets of 0.0848. Now we need to calculate our sustainable growth rate. Our sustainable growth rate is equal to ROE times R, 1 minus ROE times R. And we can use the DuPont method to determine our ROE. So our ROE being net income over sales times sales over assets times assets over equity. And we can go ahead and plug that in. So we have 0.053 times 1.6 and now we are going to need to figure out our assets over our equity, because that is not given. We don't have assets over equity. We have assets less total equity divided by total assets. And so our assets over equity is what's called our equity multiplier. This is called our equity multiplier. So we're just going to rewrite that as EM. Okay, so we know that our equity is at 0.45, pardon me, our debt. So we have 0.55 equity. We know that our so that would mean if we have one, sorry. So if we were to work this backwards, if our total equity is 0.55, so we have 1 minus 0.55, oh, of course here. So here for this equity multiplier, so if our total debt is 0.45, that means our total equity must be 0.55. So if our equity is 0.55, and in relation to our assets being 1, because our assets include debt and equity, we can get this number here. So 1 divided by 0.55 is equal to 1.8182. And then we can finish our DuPont method ROE. And now we can plug this back into our sustainable growth rate. We've got 0.1542 times 0.7 divided by 1 minus 0.1542 times 0.07. So we get a growth rate of 12%.